Okay, this is the last part of our combat mode, explore mode, default mode, whatever you want to call it, but where you could transition between a free, open, walk around, do whatever you want, and shoot. The only thing holding this up right now is the animations. So what I mean by that is, well, there's a couple things. If you look up, I mean, it's cool. He's like looking up and looking down, but we can do this better in a later tutorial. So a couple things. We need to fix this so that way he's not like moving his whole upper body. And what that is the the animation set, the aim offset that we put in there. We need to have one for this character when he's in this non-combat mode. The other thing is if you are jumping around like this, or even if you're in combat mode and you jump around, he goes into this normal mode kind of. Imagine, watch this, jump, shoot, he's shooting the ground. It's just weird. At first I was like, oh, it's kind of realistic, but I actually want to be able to jump and shoot accurately and actually shoot at things, to do jump attacks and all that sort of stuff. So that's what we're going to go ahead and work on. And I was going to start it in the last one, and I was like, it's a mess, because it is kind of a mess. But it's the only way to really do it. And so what I mean by that is, so you go into your jump, and you have your regular old jump start animations. But we also want to jump, have different animations depending on if we're in combat mode or not. So go ahead and right click and say layered blend per it's acting all weird because I got caps lock and stuff. Layered blend per bone. Select that. Okay, and then we're also going to have blend poses by bool. Blend poses by bool. Okay, so this one blends the pose depending on if we're in combat mode or not, and this one will give us just a blended pose based off of our bone. Okay, and remember when what were we doing? Oh, we were doing the leg turn stuff. Remember when we were turning in place, and it got somewhat complicated, but it's not. This one's not that bad. So let's go ahead and just set that up right now so I don't mess it up. So on your layered blend per bone, go ahead and select this. It'll do a drop down. It should do a drop down, and they'll have a bone name. And we're gonna make that one spine 0, 1. Okay, blend depth is gonna be 1. And mesh space rotation. That just gets everything blending right, okay? So what that means is that the spine 1 and further down the chain is going to be controlled by what goes into 0. And then we got to have our base pose. So basically this play third person jump start, that's going to be our base pose. Okay, think of it like your legs or whatever, or it's going to be controlling all of that sort of stuff. But this blend poses 0, we want it controlled by a whole other different animation, and that's going to be our play rifle idle. Okay, and we're going to run it up into here, and I'm getting a weird error for some reason. I've never seen that. Why would it be even giving me an error? Compile error. That is weird. I have never seen that. Let's break this link real quick. Let me Control C, Control V. Let me run this up in here. Let me compile, see if that fixes it. Let me refresh the node. There it goes. That's strange. Yeah, we might have to work with that and figure out what's going on. I might even try this. This is risky. Delete it. Control C, Control V. Compile that. And I'm getting some weird errors. Well, let's hope those clear up after we fix some stuff, because I've never seen that before. That might require a restart. Yeah, very strange. So, oh, that's because I know what that is. That's probably errors because it's calling it later down the road. No big deal. Anyway, let's get our blend poses per bool. So basically, it's going to make a determination based off we're in combat mode. So if we're in combat mode, if that's true, we're going to just have this guy go right in here. So if we're in combat mode, we want to have the rifle play idle and the third person jump start. So the jump start is going to be the legs, and the play idle is going to be, rifle idle is going to be from the spine bone 0-1 on down the chain of bones. And if you want to look at the hierarchy to understand it better, go ahead and look at that, and it'll kind of give you a little more enlightenment. Otherwise, just do the regular old third person jump start. Okay? Let's hook that up. I'm still getting those weird errors that are worrying me. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's this guy. Break this link right here. Compiles. Let me see if I just get rid of them. And the errors are gone. Okay, good. So basically what it was saying, it was wanting to know the time remaining ratio of the animation that we no longer had connected, and it threw a big old fit when we got rid of it. So it's the time remaining of the third person jump start. So let's go ahead and put that back in there correctly. So right click and say time remaining ratio third person jump start. Now I want you to look very carefully at this. This was a bug, or not a bug, but something that really threw me for a loop for a very long time. Not a long time, but long enough that I didn't want to do it anymore. So it's in here twice. That's because each animation has its own tag. I mean, even if it's not named the same thing, it's not like this in any other scenario, but I don't know if this is intentional or what, but it's detecting each of those third person jump starts, and it's making it its own thing. So if you only call one of them, it's going to be like, it reads them independently. So if the condition is, here, I'll just show you. Remember, I'm doing the top one, and I'll do the bottom one. Time remaining ratio, third person jump start. Okay, so if you just did this, and there's no way of knowing, is this the one I had connected up to which of the bools? So, like, watch. So, which one is it? Is it this one or is it this one? There's no way to. They're both referencing the same animation, but as far as I know, there's no way to tell the difference between these two. But if you tried to go into this transition, and you only talked about one of them, it's going to be like, well, wait a minute, this other one wasn't mentioned, and then it just won't let you transition if you're happening to be needing to know this information, which is the time remaining before the jump start ends. That's how it knows to go into the next animation. It's going, how much time is left in this animation? If it's less than 0.1 seconds, go ahead and transition to the next animation. But if you're calling an animation that isn't referenced here, it just stops. So you'll be stuck in a perpetual jump loop forever, which sounds like a science fiction movie. So run off of here and just say or. And then connect up the or to in here. Okay, and then just make another one of these. Control C, Control V. Plug it into here. And there. So either one of these animations, now I've had it be kind of buggy before, where either one of them messes up, like you think you've called different ones, but for some reason it wants you to do it again. It's just a mess. Eventually you get it right. We'll have to play around with it maybe. So it's going to be one of these. Okay, that's basically what's going on here. Now for our jump loop. Our jump loop, I believe, is going to be similar animations, except for the jump loop part. So here's what we can do. Let's go to our jump start. Let's get rid of the actual jump start animations by just kind of getting them out of the way. Let's select all of these. Control C. Let's back out. Let's go to our jump loop. And let's roll them right in here just like this. Okay? And then our first jump loop will connect into here as our base. and then we'll throw this in here. And remember, we're going to make a copy of this jump loop. Control V it. All right, and let's compile and let's hope for no errors. So far, so good. Okay, and that looks pretty much what I have on my notes here. So let's try and move on like it was easy. And then that one's pretty easy. I think it just wants to know if it's not in the air. Yeah, and I think we can just get away with, yeah. So basically it looks and says, okay, dude, are you still in the air or not? And if you're not, it's going to play this one last animation. So it doesn't, it's not really dependent on anything. So let me double click on this, and it's going to be very similar, just like the last thing we pasted, only I think let me double check. Jump end. Yeah, we don't want that. Let me get into this jump loop here. Oh, into this jump loop. Grab everything but the jump loops. The last thing you want to do is start putting more jump loops in here, because we're going to have to do something similar to what we did last time. The rifle idle thing, that's okay, I think. Select these, Control C. Go into your jump end. Come over here, Control V. Okay, and just like last time, your jump into your base. Rifle idle right there, that's fine. Make a copy of your jump. See, it's doing that damn thing. That is weird. Okay, it just spazzes out sometimes, because now it's not doing it. I guess I jumped the gun on the other one, but whatever. So there we go. We got our third person jump. That's great. Everything's great until you come here. So every time you end, you don't, you can't just ask, okay, is the third person jump asset, is it less than 1 or 0.1? That's not going to work anymore, unfortunately. So for this one, let's see, it's called, this is where I'm getting this, play third person jump. So what I'm going to do is play third person jump. Okay, time remaining ratio third person jump. Go get the top one. Time remaining third person jump, and get the bottom one. Oh, but make sure it's ratio. See how easy that is? Now, you should have both of them, okay? We're going to get rid of this and hope that's right. Connect up the first one to here. Grab another one of these. Throw it down here. Okay. Now, here's where it's easy to mess up. As if everything we've done today hasn't been easy to mess up. Run off of here and say or. Okay. So now you would think, okay, or, but we still haven't determined whether we were in combat mode or not. And it's necessary to make it, it can't be or, it has to be and. So make it and. And I'll explain that here in just a second. And Boolean, and get combat mode. Get combat mode. I was just going to try and drag and drop it on there. Okay. So, if either of these two jumping animations are almost over and you're in combat mode, then you can go into here. Then you can go into our idle run, which is our combat mode. Okay? If either of those two conditions are present. So what I'm going to do, the next one's going to be similar. So I'm going to copy these, Control C. But there's sometimes that we're jumping and we're in combat mode and we want to go to our default mode. Oh, didn't work. Let's try it again. There. And to find out where that node is, you kind of got to drag around and you'll take this bottom one right here. double click on it, paste in this stuff, just like this. And if I remember, it should be almost the same, but combat mode, get it, is not true. So drag off not Boolean. And this is going to have to be an and. So if either of one of these animations are almost out of time, either one, doesn't matter, but as long as one of them are about ready out of time on these third-person jumps, then and we're not in combat mode, then we can transition into our default mode. And I think we just covered a big chunk of it, so let's see what we got. So you can pick up your gun, you can jump, and now, see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can transition. Okay, so I got out of the combat mode. So if I jump and I'm not in my combat mode, he seems to be moving fine. But if I'm in my combat mode and I jump, it seems to be the landing that's getting him. Let's look at that again. And remember, you saw, at least I think I grabbed both of them, but let's look at it. So let's go time remaining, idle ratio, time remaining ratio, third person jump, and we're just going to have to plug these in here until it eventually works. So let's start with the first one. Yeah. Time remaining ratio, third person jump. Let's try it. Compile, save. All right. Hopefully we can work through this bug quickly. Okay, I'm in combat mode. I jump. Oh, and he landed. Let's get out of combat mode. See how easy that is to mess up, and at first you would be like, what in the actual hell is going on? Because you wouldn't, unless you've like really been fighting this. I mean, no normal person, would even want to know that. That's just annoying stuff like that. But he's looking pretty good. He's jumping in the right times. You could be in non-combat mode, jump, shoot, and it delays it just perfectly. Or you could be walk around and go, I know what, I'm not in combat mode. Bam, and he's good. Either scenario. Pretty complicated stuff. Now, we've been doing all this crazy great stuff, but we haven't been checking it with servers and clients and stuff. But as you can see, he's transitioning properly. Right? Yeah. Important things to check. You want to see, like, okay, so if you're walking this way, he shouldn't just turn around, right? Good. And that's not what he's doing. He's not turning around. At first you might, oh, wait, he is. No, look again. It's the controller that's turning behind the character, which is right. Otherwise, your guy would whip around like he's got a superpower and he can, just turn around super quick, and that's not what we want. So that's looking good. The only thing that doesn't look good is this crazy crap. So let's go ahead and fix that. How we fix that is just back up out of this anim thing here. Back up out of here. And we're going to do this part that's not intuitive at all, and just drag off of here and say save catch pose. See, I start typing save, and it says new save catched pose, and then drags off of here, and you're like, well, what is this random number? What the heck is this? This is like a variable that holds your current animation state. That's all it is. And you can call that variable so you can plug it into multiple different things. And I'll show you. But we should name it. And just say, calling it default would probably be wrong. You could say like basic catch pose. Okay, it doesn't have anything added to it. It's just your basic catch pose, and it messed up because your your catch pose isn't going into anything, so it's dead. So what you need to do is you need to call it just like a variable. So right click and say basic catch. Okay, and up here it says used catch pose, basic catch pose. So drag that off and plug it in, and he's back to normal. Now we haven't actually done anything. I'm just showing you how to connect that loop up. So what do we need? Well, we have a situation. Let's just break this link right here, where this will be the combat mode, right? And then used catch pose, basic catch pose, and this will be our non-combat, because he doesn't yet have an aim offset. So how do we blend these two? How do we decide, okay, what's going on? Well, at first you're going to want to check if you're in combat mode. That's what makes the difference. Well, then what connects these? Then just like we did earlier, we're going to blend poses by bool. Okay? So if combat mode is true, because this time we've gone through everything, so we've actually calculated everything. If combat mode is true, we're going to plug in here. If it's not true, then we're going to go in our regular guy, and then we're going to take it all and we're going to run it into here. Boom. Compile, save all, and let's see what we got. Oh, dang it. There we go. Whew. Okay, he's looking up. We already knew he would do that. And don't worry, I'll fix that left-hand bug you're noticing eventually here. But anyway, so he's not looking up. He's not doing anything crazy. We will make it so when he's in this mode, his head moves around, so he's actually looking at different things and all that. But for right now, I think we're doing pretty good. Everything seems to be working. If there's any bugs, let me know. I know the one I made was fine. I've tested it out. No major bugs. None that I've seen. But if you are noticing anything, let me know. This was an extremely complicated one for something so seemingly simple. Like you think, oh, I'm going to walk over here and pick up a gun and it's going to be so easy, But when you got all these little things that are interacting, it can be somewhat complicated. But it looks like everything is going right. And if you made it through, hey, good job. Really, not easy stuff. Let's go ahead and double check everything with the client here. The clients are transitioning. He's picking up weapons. Actually, I meant to check that without switching. Picks up the weapon. Great. He already had the weapon. And then finally, it's kind of obvious, but we'll see what the server sees, just to make sure there's no glaring bugs. So let's get the server looking over here. Let's get a client picking up some stuff. Let's see if he goes right into it. Perfect. He's out of combat mode. He picks up a weapon. He's not going into combat mode. That's right. That's what we want. He's facing the wall. Let's see this. He's facing the other wall, and he's going to fire. Boom. Perfect. So there you go. Now you have yourself an Explorer mode. You can do whatever you want, and a combat mode. So I'll see you guys on the next one.